in this section we're just going to jump right into policy and simply cover some more examples of how a user, once they've successfully authenticated into a server, how they can be further restricted from their movements on the local server or on the network. Let's first take a look at a pretty common end user application. So let's take a look at Internet Explorer. We're going to start under Interactive Program Options, Specific Interactive Program Options, and we're going to drop down to Internet Explorer. Under Basic Options, you see a few different checkboxes we can enable right out of the start. If we want to restrict where Internet Explorer can write, what directories, registry settings, things of that nature, we can input that information here. We could also restrict Internet Explorer from launching other applications. So for example, by default, we restrict Internet Explorer from launching a command shell. And then also we have an option down below to restrict Internet Explorer's network access. So what this does when this is enabled, basically restricts Internet Explorer to a handful of ports required for web and FTP traffic only. Any other type of port or communication coming from Internet Explorer or destined to Internet Explorer would be restricted. If we wanted to get more granular about the network controls, as you've seen in previous examples, we can come under Network Controls, and here, either under Inbound or Outbound, we can now make additional constraints around the exact ports or even IP addresses that Internet Explorer would be allowed to access. We could do the same for Firefox or Chrome or Safari, any type of end user application. Let's take a look now at a more service-focused end user application. Let's say that you want to be able to restrict any end user or administrative user from seeing what services are running on a machine and making any changes to those running services. So what we've done here is we're going to go ahead and restrict the services management screen. So we're going to start off under Global, come under Resource Lists, and under No Access, we're going to go ahead and enter the services.exe, which is going to launch the Services Management Console. So as of right now, we've now restricted anyone from accessing the services screen. And next we're going to come under Interactive Program Options, Default Interactive Program Options, and under Read Only, we're going to go ahead and now enter the privileges for how we want this screen to open in the future. So for right here, we've gone ahead and said that for the services.exe, allow Windows to open it when initiated by good user. This is going to allow only good user now to open the services management screen. Anyone else will receive a permission denied message. We could do the same thing for the net command, another way to access some of Windows services. And again, this can be applied to anything in the Windows System 32 directory, any Windows service, any Windows application, and the same for our Unix and Linux platforms as well. Another great example of something to lock down might be MSI exec, the installer or the application used by Windows to install applications. You could even get as granular as locking down that particular application. And again, defining which applications can invoke MSI exec and which users have permissions to invoke MSI exec. As you can see, we have the capability to really lock down any aspect of a Windows, or same applies to Unix and Linux machines as well. As you also saw during the sections on privilege de-escalation and Microsoft SQL restrictions, the same also applies to data as well. So just a reminder that we can also lock down actual sets of data, and again, whether that be a text file, an Excel spreadsheet, a Word doc, a database, any file on the system or any registry key on the system, we have these same granular levels of controls to lock down and again assign and define which applications and which users or which groups of users have access. And those can always be either local users, AD users, local groups, or AD groups. For those applications that you know should never be used within your environment, we can set those to what we refer to as no privileges. So we start off, if they're an end user application, we start off under interactive program options. We come under alternate privilege lists, and we simply define the executable under specify interactive programs that should not start, and we're going to enable the box. And this now means that even if an administrative user comes in and launches this particular application, the service or application will never execute on a machine running this particular policy. So this could reflect software that's either unauthorized or unsupported within your environment, or even based on the type or mission of a particular server. Maybe your Exchange server should run nothing else other than Exchange and its related services. So you might want to put some of your homegrown applications or other applications in this no privilege list to ensure they don't accidentally get installed on another machine. And that takes us to another piece of critical system protection, is that everything here we've been explicitly denying. As you continue to tune your environment, we also have the ability to move to a whitelist approach. So especially in virtual environments, as virtual servers are rolled out, and the mission of this particular virtual instance is only a web server, only an Exchange server, we actually have the ability to reverse these policies as well and move to a whitelist approach, where you can state here are the services that should run on this particular instance, and now anything else that gets added that's not explicitly defined in the whitelist is going to be restricted from installing or running on the particular piece of hardware. I invite you to mimic these policies in your own proof of concept or lab environment so we can start collecting data that's specific to your environment, begin tailoring policies that are unique to your homegrown applications and the mission critical applications that are installed within your environment. Thank you.